too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now. I give in to the lesser fight. My body aches to be satisfied. My weakness comes and goes. My weakness comes and goes. I'm reaching out for the easy high. Please fortify this strength of mine. My weakness comes and goes. My weakness comes and goes.
Alright, we should be good. Should be live. What's up, everybody? We got a small slate tonight. It's only 4 games, so gonna be a pretty quick stream. The games start at 8 o'clock Eastern time, so in like 25 minutes. So I figured I would just go live for like the next 25 minutes up until the start of the games. We're gonna talk through some plays for tonight, see if there's anything that pops up over the next few minutes. We are starting to get starting lineups. There's 3 games starting at 8 o'clock, and I think we got all the lineups for those games. And I'm kind of interested in one of those games. So we got the Blazers lineup. The Blazers are really thin at center tonight. They don't have Robert Williams, he's out, and they don't have Yang Hansen, he's also out. They went with a starting lineup that I thought was pretty interesting. They're not starting Duop Reith. They're actually going to go small. They're starting Denny at point with Shaedon Sharpe, Kamara, Grant, and they're starting Chris Murray at center. I'm kind of interested in some Chris Murray props. His PRA was at 12.5. Fantasy score is at 16. I mean, he's not like a great point per minute guy, but he's starting at center and he's probably going to play like 25 to 30 minutes. So I kind of like this Chris Murray prop of 16 fantasy score. I think there's some value here. Like it's one of those you're not going to feel good about because Chris Murray's like not, that's Keegan Murray's brother. He's not the most exciting player. He doesn't do a lot when he's on the floor, but he's probably playing like close to 30 minutes. So I think that's a play I like for tonight. We're going to definitely put this in our stream slip, and we might try and find like another player or two to pair with this, but I do like this Chris Murray prop now that he's starting at center because I think he's going to play decent minutes, and I want to take a look at his game log this year. We're just jumping right into it. You know, we don't have a ton of time anyway because the game's starting in like 20 minutes, so I figured I'd go ahead and just give you guys a play right off the bat. Let me take a look at Chris Murray's game log this year. So when he has played at least 27 minutes, he's over this line in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, 4, 6, 8. So 8 out of 9 games this year, Chris Murray has gone over 16 fantasy score when he's played at least 27 minutes. I think he plays like 28 to 30 minutes tonight because they're so short-handed. So I like this play. And it's a good matchup, too, against the Pelicans. So I definitely like this on Chris Murray. 16 fantasy score. I think this is definitely a play for today. And let's see if we can find maybe one or two more to go with this. We'll probably talk about some NFL, too, because we do have Thursday Night Football starting in like 40 minutes. I already gave out 2 props for that game in my YouTube video last night. Emeka Egbuka over 10 fantasy score. That line bumped up a full point. Probably not. I wouldn't take that again, but it got some value there. And then we took Darnell Mooney over 4.5 targets. That's at 5 now, so probably won't take those in the slip. I try not to take the same plays multiple times if I've already played them once. But we'll see if we can find a pair for this Chris Murray prop because I do like this. But what's up, guys? What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for tuning into the stream. Again, it's going to be a quick stream today, but I still wanted to go live and talk through some plays for today and see if we can find any value. What's up, C-Dub, Ace Wave, Logan? What's up, fellas? Let's make some money. What's the plays tonight for Thursday Night Football and for NBA? Definitely like this play on Chris Murray for NBA now that he is starting. For Thursday Night Football, I haven't looked too much into the Thursday Night Football game besides, the 2 plays that I gave out last night. So, again, I don't like taking plays multiple times, but I think Darnell Mooney, 7.5 fantasy score, also kind of looks good tonight. But I took him over 4.5 targets. I was actually debating between taking his targets prop or taking his fantasy score. I kind of like this. I think Darnell Mooney's definitely due for some positive regression. He's been playing a lot, getting a lot of snaps, running a lot of routes, just hasn't really been able to produce. But I think the opportunity will be there. Should be a good matchup, too, against Tampa Bay. Falcons are probably going to be forced to throw. You could throw that in there, but I don't think I'm going to make that like an official play yet. Haven't done too much digging on the Thursday night game besides, what I gave out last night. Is there any way you can post on Patreon a little earlier? Those lines bumped immediately. If you're in my Patreon, the only thing I can say is, like, once I post my plays, I have no control over when Prizepicks decides to change the lines. It could be they change the lines in 2 minutes. It could be 20 minutes. I really don't know. The best thing I can say is that if you're in the Patreon, just have your notifications on. Have your phone with you if you can. Like during the day, have your phone with you at all times. Because, once I post, usually I post the plays around like 12:30 to 1 o'clock Eastern time. It's pretty, it's kind of the same time like every day. So just be on alert during that time. I know the plays today that we gave out all bumped like 3 points. So like if you miss those, it's hard to really take those after they bump so much. But there's going to be days when you're able to get the plays in before they bump. There's going to be some days where you miss them, and that's okay. It's just part of the game, I guess. You rocking with Derek Queen as well because no big for Portland? I think the matchup definitely is good for Derek Queen. I mean, I'm assuming his lines for tonight are pretty high. He's coming off a triple-double. So, yeah, like his PRA is at 29.5. Fantasy scores at 36.5. It's definitely a good spot for Derek Queen. All his props, though, look kind of priced where they should be. 5.5 defensive rebounds kind of looks good. Like, he's going to be able to dominate on the glass because he's going to be, like, the only big out there. He's not much. I want to say he's not a, like, big offensive rebound guy. I'd have to look, but like I think 5.5 defensive rebounds for Derek Queen, like that actually kind of looks good. Let me see how many offensive rebounds he gets like on average. Let's take a look at his game log. Zero zero 1 2 2 0 0 2 3 2. Okay. I mean he's a goblin for 6.5 rebounds. I feel like if he gets 7 rebounds, it's pretty likely that he's going to have 6 defensive rebounds. I could be wrong, though. I mean, he did have a game with 7 rebounds, 2 offensive. It's a great spot for Derek Queen, no doubt. His prop lines are all kind of juiced up. But yeah, if you told me Derek Queen went off tonight, I would not be surprised. Because no Klingon, no Robert Williams, no Hansen, like Portland is just depleted at center. I mean, they're fucking starting Chris Murray at center. That just shows you. What do y'all think about Baker's fantasy score? I think it's a good spot for Baker to bounce back. He's been really bad lately. He's been dealing with an injury. But Baker's been a pretty good fantasy quarterback this year. He's mobile, so he gives you that rushing upside. It's a spot where he should have touchdown potential. You know, you would think the Bucs will be able to move it down the field and get in scoring position. So I think Baker's in a good spot tonight. What are his let's see what his odds are, like his projections. So he's for 219 pass yards, 19.5 rush yards. So let's say he's projected for like 11 fantasy points from yards, and he's a 1.5 goblin for 2 touchdowns. He's a goblin to throw 2 touchdowns. Like, I think that's good. I mean, if he has 200 yards passing, that's 8 fantasy points. If he has 2 passing touchdowns, that's 8 fantasy points. If he runs for 20 yards, that's 2 fantasy points. You add those together, that's 18 fantasy score. Like, I don't hate the play on Baker. I definitely think Baker's due to bounce back at some point. He's getting all his receivers back, too. Mike Evans is back. Godwin's healthy. Ibuka's still healthy. Jalen McMillan's back. I don't know how much Jalen McMillan's really going to play, but I mean, Baker, yeah, he's got all his weapons. First time joining the stream, welcome, Matthew. Welcome, my man. These streams are typically more like Q&A based. So like for the next 30 minutes, I'll kind of just answer some questions you guys have. But I'll also try and give out some slips as well, try and build out some plays. It is kind of tough because, you know, at this point in the day, like a lot of the good value is pretty much gone. But this is definitely a play that I do like for tonight, is this Chris Murray prop with him starting. I think there's some value there. And I was interested to see who the Bucs were going to start in place of AJ Green, because AJ Green's out and they're going with Kyle Kuzma. So Kyle Kuzma's starting, 24.5 fantasy score. That looks okay. Not my favorite play, but it looks okay. I want to say Kuzma's been pretty decent without Giannis this year. Let me see. So Kuzma has played 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's played 8 games without Giannis. He's over this line in half of those games. And he's over in 2 out of 3 games when playing at least 30 minutes. I mean, I think that line looks about right. But Kuzma is starting, so I think there is some value on his fantasy score. No, we got to lock in today and get 2 strong plays for NBA. This is one I like. Let's find another one, though, for sure. Hopefully within the next 15 minutes. I was interested in Malik Monk's fantasy score. His line was at 25.5 today, and it got bumped down, which I was kind of surprised by. Without Zach LaVine and without Dennis Schroeder, Malik Monk's going to play a lot, I think. And he's a good producer. Like his PRA is at like 21, I think. 20.5. I mean, he's typically a guy that can get maybe like a steal or a block. He typically is not a big-time turnover guy. I mean, his turnovers line is at 1.5. He's had at least 1 stock in 3 of his last 5 games. I kind of like Malik Monk fantasy score, 24. But I already took his points prop. But then again, it doesn't really matter. We took Malik Monk's points prop in my YouTube video yesterday, but we paired that with the Robert Williams play, and Robert Williams isn't playing, so that's going to be a DMP or a void anyway. It's going to get refunded. I kind of like this Malik Monk 24 fantasy score. Like if he plays 25, 26 minutes, which he should without LaVine and without Schroeder, I think he probably goes over this fantasy score line more times than not. And I'm going to actually look at his game log this year. So let's see. So when Malik Monk has played at least 24 minutes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He's played at least 24 minutes in 13 games this year. He's over this fantasy score line in, looks like 8 of those 13 or 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7 out of 13. Okay, that's not the hit rate I want to see, but I Still think it's okay. I don't know. I'm a little hesitant on that one. Let's see, what do you guys like for tonight? We might throw something else in there. Kind of hesitant on the Malik Monk prop. Don't forget, Bucks got 2 receivers back tonight. That is true, yeah. McMillan and Mike Evans are both back. I'm assuming they're both going to be really limited, especially McMillan. I mean, McMillan, he might only play like 20 snaps, 15 snaps. And there was a report that Mike Evans would only play in like, you know, he's not going to be out there for every snap. So I think Mike Evans might only be out there on like 3rd downs in the red zone. So even though Mike Evans and McMillan are coming back, like we took an Egbuka over, I don't think that's like terrible for Egbuka. I think Egbuka's still going to be out there for almost every snap and running. He's going to be running routes. He's been getting a ton of volume, just hasn't like been able to connect. Keegan under 17.5 points. I haven't looked at a Keegan under today. I mean, his lines are going to be inflated because of Levine and Schroeder being out. I feel like a lot of Keegan's production comes from 3-point shooting, and I don't know where Denver ranks this year in terms of like 3-pointers allowed. I want to say they've just kind of been like an average team. Let's see. So Denver is top 10 in 3-point attempts allowed per game. And they're like middle of the pack in 3-pointers made per game. Like, I feel like it's like a neutral matchup for Keegan. It's always tough when there's like injuries, you know, projecting out how the usage is going to go when there's guys out. I feel like Keegan's lines are kind of priced correctly. I know he's been bad lately, but again, his lines are higher today because of Levine and Schroeder being out. And he's a guy that can soak up usage, like he'll take shots. I'm not personally. I don't really like that play, but if you like it, Chris, go ahead, man. If we can't do fantasy points, what would your pivot be for Murray? Probably PRA. PRA is always going to be like the next best pivot, and his PRA line did go up 1. It was at 12.5. It's at 13.5 now, but his fantasy score didn't move. And he's favored, let's see, he's favored to get 1 steal. He's typically like, he's a guy that probably won't get but maybe 1 turnover, maybe 2, if that. If you have access to fantasy score, I like that a lot more than PRA. But if you, like you said, if you can't take fantasy points, I think PRA is the next best pivot, probably. Or maybe PR. Maybe PR. PR might be better. If you can get PR at 11.5 instead, that might be better. Because you would need him to get 2 assists or more for PRA to be worth it. And does he get 2 assists or more? I mean, maybe. But I'm not confident in that. Any replacement for Robert Williams? He got ruled out. Yeah, we're going to talk about a couple plays. These are 2 that I like. I feel a little bit better about the Chris Murray prop than I do the Malik Monk prop, but I like both these lines on Prizepicks, these fantasy scores. Again, Chris Murray is starting at center tonight because the Blazers are so short-handed at center. And Malik Monk, I just expect him to have a bigger role without Levine, without Schroeder. I think he's definitely being undervalued by the market. And this is a spot where Malik Monk should be able to come off the bench, really, soak up a lot of usage in the second unit. He should be the guy handling the ball a lot, taking a lot of the shots in the second unit whenever Russ and DeRozan are off the floor. If he plays 30 minutes, Zubac 7.5 defensive rebounds, 3rd leading in rebounds if he plays big minutes. It is a bad rebounding matchup, though, against Houston. Like, Houston's a really good team at limiting rebounding. They keep teams off the glass pretty well. Steven Adams is, a guy that's tough to rebound against because he boxes out so well. He's so physical, but I get it. I mean, Zubac's always been a really good rebounder. Where's the defensive rebounds at? 7.5. I feel like for Zubac, it just comes down to matchup, and this is definitely not a good one. Like against Minnesota, that was a bad rebounding matchup. He only had 7 defensive rebounds in that one. I'm pretty sure Houston's like the best rebounding team in the league. Let's see. Yeah, Houston leads the league in rebound percentage. I understand the play, Eli, but I don't know if it's one that I'm super high on. Walsh fantasy score, that's one that I see a lot of people are on because he's been going over a lot lately. I think he's gone over in all of his last 5 games. Jordan Walsh. It's tough. So like, I think a couple of these games one of these games I think was without Jaylen Brown. I think the game he had 43. Walsh has never been like he's never been a good fantasy producer. Like this year, let's see what his fantasy points per minute are. I would assume he's at like 0.7 probably. Let me take a look at this. So this year, Walsh, he's at 0.9 fantasy points per minute. Definitely higher than I expected. His minutes have been pretty good lately. We've seen times this season where his minutes can crater a little bit. Like there was one game he only played 19 minutes. There was one game he played 20 minutes. But like the last few games, 30, 26, 26 minutes. If he plays like 28, 30 minutes, I think it's good. I'm never confident in his minutes because the Celtics, they just have other guys they could play. They could go to Josh Minott. They could play Sam Hauser. They have other guys that could take his minutes. So I'm a little hesitant on that one, but I get why you like it. I mean, he has been going over his lines a lot lately. He has been playing more minutes as of late. I just think there's always a chance that, the minutes come down on Jordan Walsh. What's a good source to find fantasy score projections for NBA? There's a lot of sites out there that do projections. You can also compare projections around the other DFS sites. So like Prizepicks, Underdog, they both do fantasy scores. You can compare based off that way. But yeah, there's a lot of daily fantasy sites out there that do projections, and you can compare their projections to Prizepicks. That's something that I do to find value. Westbrook fantasy versus Denver, his old team. I mean, Westbrook's going to have a big role tonight for sure. Without Levine, without Schroeder, he's going to play a lot. He's going to have big-time usage. The lines are super high on Westbrook, though. But, like, if you told me Westbrook had, like, a triple-double tonight, I would not be surprised. And Denver, I want to say Denver's been a pretty good matchup for guards this year. Like, I don't hate it. I think his line was at 41 earlier today, so it's already gone up a little bit. But Westbrook's going to have the opportunity to really just do whatever he wants. And I saw openly opinionated said, Westbrook scares me because of turnovers. That is true with Westbrook. He can turn the ball over a lot, which, for fantasy, that does hurt you. But he has shown an ability to get steals and blocks as well, which can kind of negate the turnovers. Like his last 5 games, he's had, 4 steals, 2 steals, 1 steal, 2 steals, 4 steals. And then I think blocks, he's had some blocks too. Like he had a block last game. So even if he has like 3 or 4 turnovers, if he gets like 2 or 3 steals, that'll probably make up for it. Because you got to remember, for assists, you get 1.5. For rebounds, you get 1.2. If I had to choose between like his PRA or his fantasy score, there's a 8.5 point difference between those two. I think I'd lean his PRA, but I mean he probably if he goes over one of the two, he probably goes over both. But I do agree that like Westbrook is in line to pick up a big role tonight for sure. The Monk pick scares me. I understand that. Monk his minutes have been down lately, which is concerning. Like, he only played like 9 minutes last game. But man, like you would think without Levine, without Schroeder, like they need a guard to soak up minutes, to provide offense, and that's what Monk can do. Like, I know last game he shot like 0 for 5. And look, there's a chance he goes out there and, shoots 0 for 5 again and loses minutes, but he's one of the guys on the team that can actually provide a spark, can bring offense, which, outside of like DeRozan and Westbrook, I mean, they don't have a ton of shot creation, guys that can create their own offense, especially in that second unit. I mean, their second unit is full of like low usage players. Keon Ellis, Drew Eubanks, Precious Achiuwa, like these are guys that can't really create their own offense. So it's like Malik Monk's going to be out there with a bunch of bums, and he should just be able to take as many shots as he wants. You like Saddiq Bey PRA or points prop? I know Saddiq Bey's another guy that's been like crushing his projections. I will say the Pelicans are getting back Jordan Poole tonight. Now, Jordan Poole's going to come off the bench and probably play limited minutes. I've said this I've been saying this for like a week. I feel like the Saddiq Bey like regression game is coming. There's going to be a game where he has like 10 points and lets everybody down. And maybe this is it. With Jordan Poole back, maybe he takes a back seat. But like if you just want to keep riding the heater on Saddiq Bey, I mean, go ahead. I personally like all his lines look correct to me. If anything, I feel like they're a little bit inflated because of how well he's been playing, and especially with Jordan Poole back. Like this could be the time to maybe sell high on Saddiq Bey. People saying James Harden fantasy. I mean, Harden's been great for fantasy this year. This is a terrible, terrible matchup, though. Like, Houston it's one of the toughest matchups overall, especially for guards because of Amen Thompson. Amen Thompson is such a good defender. And I think if there's any player in the league that could give Harden trouble, it's a guy like Amen Thompson who is so quick. He won't, fall for the foul baiting. He's a guy that can, force turnovers. Like, it's definitely a difficult spot for Harden. But like Harden has been really good for fantasy this year. He's had a huge role playing big minutes. I think this matchup though is a scary one. I feel like his projections are kind of lowered a little bit tonight because of the bad matchup. If you're one of those people that think, matchups don't matter for a guy like Harden, then yeah, you could definitely take his overs because the lines are lower than they normally would be. I'm worried though that this is a spot where Harden could struggle. How you feel about Şengün's PRA line? I haven't looked at that one. Let's see what that's at. 36.5. I mean, Şengün, he's one of those do-it-all guys. Scores, rebounds, gets assists. If I had to choose like his PRA or his fantasy score, I think I'd take his PRA. I mean, the Clippers, in terms of a matchup base, I feel like it's like a neutral matchup for centers. It's not great. It's not terrible. I wonder what he's done historically against Zubac, if that even matters. Just kind of interested. Let's see. Let's see. So they haven't played this season, but last season against Zubac, 11, 10, and 6, 16, 10, and 10. So he had a triple-double. He did have a 23, 19, and 14 game. Interesting. I feel like the line on Şengün's kind of priced correctly, but if you like to play, you could take it for sure. It's one that I don't have too much of a take on. What about over fouls for Westbrook? I don't know if I've ever taken a fouls prop. I feel like fouls is kind of, it all depends on like who they're guarding. What's his fouls line at? Is it like 2.5 or something? Yeah, 2.5. I mean, who's he going to guard? He might guard Jamal Murray, which could bring foul trouble risk, maybe. Fouls are just like, it's fluky. It's almost like steals and blocks. Like, it's just so hard to predict when a player is going to get fouls. Like, Westbrook could play 36 minutes tonight and have 2 fouls. He could play 36 minutes and have 5 fouls. Like, it's so random. It's one of those, plays I really don't take very often. But I could understand, like, if he's going to guard a player, like, maybe if he guards Jamal Murray and that, Murray's drawing fouls on him, then I could see why you would like that. But it's one of those that I just don't have much of a take on. Now, if you told me that Westbrook was like gonna guard SGA and he was at 2.5 fouls, then yeah, I think I'd like the over because yeah, SGA is so good at drawing fouls. But again, like who knows? It's foul trouble is one of the toughest things to project and predict. But we had a short stream today, guys. It was only going to be like 25, 30 minutes. I think this is going to be our official stream pick, though. Chris Murray, again, that game is starting in a minute. So if you guys already played that, it's good to go. But I do like this pick for today. Chris Murray over 16 fantasy score. Malik Monk over 24 fantasy score. We talked about why I like both of those plays. And I'm actually going to go ahead and put this slip in while I still can before this game starts. Let's see here. In our last stream slip, we gave out Khalil Ware under fantasy, which was sweat-free. He only played like 14 minutes. He was just backing up Bam Adebayo. Didn't play any minutes alongside Bam. And that hit sweat-free. And, of course, we paired it with the Scotty Barnes taco, which lost. Like, that's just literally... That's just how things go for me, I guess. Find a play that hits sweat-free and you pair it with a losing discount play. Like, that's the story of my life right there. Let's put this slip in real quick. All right, we're in there. All right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap up the stream here. Again, it was a short stream today. Games are about to start here in a few minutes. Thursday Night Football is about to start. I'll see you guys tomorrow, most likely. I think I will be streaming tomorrow. Haven't looked at the schedule for tomorrow. I think we have a good amount of games, though. So there will definitely be more to talk about. And we'll probably go live for maybe the full hour tomorrow. Lately, we've just been doing like these quick 30-minute streams. But yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 7 games tomorrow starting at 7 o'clock. So I'll probably go live from 6 o'clock Eastern to 7. So about an hour or so. But you'll see the stream on the channel either way when I do decide to go live, like the times. But good luck tonight, guys. Let's win some money. Appreciate you guys tuning into the stream. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Peace out, everybody.